West Barrington. They'd come tell me what they wanted and I'd go get it for them.
So he like did the inventory.
Okay, so and this is about what year?
Oh. Gosh, I don't
40s?
Were you about 30?
I don't know what year it was. I went to work for Austin Construction Company. And I didn't work there 6 months, I don't guess. No, it's longer than that because me and John built a house.
Mm-hmm.
It come a flood while I was there and I had 5 foot of water in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that held it was the gas line that went up through the floor. And of course we had ice boxes back then that didn't have refrigerators. And that big old ice box was laying on top of a mirror and didn't even crack it. But we fixed that up. And Minnie's folks, they still kept coming every week. Somebody would come there, stay a week or two. So I got John Schmidt. I says, I'm paying out too much money for this house. John said, if you'll buy the lumber, I'll build it. And I went down there and talked to the fellow that owns the land right beside Boots down there. And he says, yeah, I'll rent you land. You can put up whatever building you want to on it. And the fellow that lived next to Boots, he says, Barrington, yes sir, you got the money to buy the lumber for that house? I said, no. He says, my son wants your car. He does, yeah. He said he'll pick up the payments on your car, give you $100, or else buy you $100 worth of lumber, and you can build the house right back of Boots.
$100. Build him a house.
He gave me an old Ford coupe that about the only way you could stop it is put your foot outside and drag it. But Minnie's drove that thing downtown, back and forth, until I bought another car. But anyhow, her folks are still coming in there living with us. And Nora, her oldest sister, quit the old boy that she lived with over in Troop, and she come to our house, and she had a good Dodge 2-door.
Was that the Woody?
Huh?
Was that the Woody?
Yeah, that's the one that yeah. She asked me, says, would you give me $200 for this car, and I want to go to California. Sure I will. So I don't know how we got the $200, but I gave her $200. And she left about a month later and went to California. But John and Ophelia stayed with us in that house. And the baby, we had a baby then, of course. William, her oldest brother, he came and stayed with us 2 or 3 weeks, and he couldn't stand it. He had to go back home to Mama. Anyhow, we left.
I thought you said he couldn't stand to be away from May Beulah.
That's her.
Uber.
Yeah, that's the one. That's what I say. He couldn't stay away from Mama. It's his wife.
Oh, yeah.
And anyhow, I told the fellow that the head of the electricians down there, would he get me a helper's card where I could make more money? I wanted more money for my family. He said, yeah, I will. Monday morning come. I said, Vernon, did you get me a helper's card? No, but I'll talk to them, and they'll if you'll go down there, they'll give you one. You'll have to carry $100 for a helper's card. I went down there the next day. I laid off from work. I got to Houston. I went into the electricians. They said, we never heard of Vernon. He didn't come here. And he didn't. I said, well, I wanted to buy a helper's card. He said, we can't do that. He says, we don't need any helpers right now. So I walked across the hall from them to the Boilermakers. They said, yeah, we'll hire you right now. Says, you'll go down to Freeport, what's the name of the place
Corsicana?
where Opal lives?
Texas City.
Yeah, Texas City. And I gave him $100. He gave me a helper's card, and I went home and loaded up Minnie and Mona, and we went to trying to find a place to live here in Houston. And we found Clyde and Etna found me going on 920 West 18th. And I drove down there and back one day and Boots to drive down the next. And I was getting $1 an hour. And I told him, I said, I can do exactly what they're doing over there. The foreman said, you can? I said, sure I can. He handed the torch to me, he said, go over and try. And he upped me from $1 an hour to $1.50, and that was top pay.
Wow.
It was. Things wasn't so high then. And so I worked there for about 4 months, and went down there one morning and says, there's 40 of you being laid off right now. And I was one of them. They said, if you go to Sinclair Rubber Plant, they'll hire you. You go right straight on back to Houston and go to Sinclair Rubber Plant. And I did. They hired me. And I worked there 3 or 4 months. And they didn't need me no more. They let 40 of us go that time. And we went on down, they told us where to go, and they needed us. And got down there, they said, no, you got to go back into town, come through the Union. I went back downtown, and they didn't have a place open for me. So I come downtown, and I was standing there on Fanning, and the bus pulled up, and one of the big shots for the bus company was standing there, and Oscar Campbell was driving the bus. I talked to him a minute, he went on, and I turned around to that fella. He had on a big suit and a big strawberry cowboy hat, Stetson. I said, you think I can drive one of them? He grabbed me by the arm and said, you hired. I went out that evening to drive in the bus.
Now, is that where you met Uncle Oscar?
Yeah, no, I already knew Oscar
From?
in the tree army.
Okay. Go ahead.
Me and him both was bosses in the tree army because I was working for the boss.
Yeah,
In
okay.
the tree armor?
Tree Army.
Oh, when he was in the army.
Tree, no, that was the CCC.
That was Civilian Conservation.
I'm
They
sorry,
called
what
it the
was
Tree
it?
Army.
We would fix